You know this because the estate agent told you, and because you can feel it. In the way the floors breathe under your weight. In the way certain doors have learned to open on their own when the pressure changes. In the way the basement has a smell that belongs to a different century. Houses this old have absorbed too much. They don't forget the people who lived in them. And sometimes, the night clerk has learned this. They don't tell you when those people come back. You moved in with your parents and your 2-year-old daughter. The rent was manageable. The neighborhood was quiet. You were 18, then 19. You were working morning shifts and coming home to a house that was supposed to be yours. It wasn't the only thing living there. It started with small things, the kind of things a tired mind explains away before they finish forming. A window found open that nobody opened. A door found unlocked that your father locked the night before. Footsteps from upstairs, but the baby gate was up. The animals couldn't get up there, and nobody was home. Men's pants appeared in the house one day. Not your father's. He was over 6 feet tall, and these would have fit you. Nobody had a reasonable explanation. The pants stayed on the floor, in the way things stay on the floor when nobody wants to touch them. One summer morning, your mother called you downstairs with an expression you had never seen on her before. Your father had come home and found the window screen missing from the upstairs bedroom. Not broken, not blown out, removed. It was sitting on the roof outside, leaning against the siding. The window was unlocked, and on the sill, in the white dust that collects on old window frames, there were handprints, facing inward, showing hands coming in from outside. The window was your daughter's bedroom window. Your father nailed it shut that day. The basement had always been strange. The door to it wasn't a normal door. It required a specific sequence, pushing the wall away from the frame while pushing the door simultaneously. The kind of door you only learn by living with it. Your father made sure to shut it every time he worked down there. Twice a week he came home to find it open. He built a new door, put a lock on it, gave himself the only key, changed the back door lock too. The basement door stayed closed after that. You stopped thinking about it. It's late on a winter night. Your daughter is awake in front of you, working through one of her Christmas gifts. You're on your phone. The house is quiet. The back door slams. Not the wooden doors, the metal one. A sound so distinct from anything else in the house that you've never once confused it for anything other than what it is. And then you hear the sink running. You were the last person in the kitchen. The water was off. The door was shut. You get up. The kitchen is empty. The back door is standing open. The outside dark and cold beyond the glass. The sink is running. You turn it off. You close and lock the door. You lock every door and every window on the first floor, then the second floor. From upstairs, you look out toward the alley behind the garage. The motion-activated lights are on. And in the alley, briefly, just a shape in the darkness before it moves out of the light, there is a figure. You go downstairs. You sit with your daughter. You post about it on the internet because you don't want to wake your parents over something you might be imagining. 8 minutes later, something knocks on the back door. Not a gentle knock. First, a tapping on the glass. Soft, deliberate. Then a bang. You pick up your daughter. You run. You carry her to your parents' room, and you say the words out loud for the first time. There's someone outside. Your father checks with his gun. Your mother calls the police. The police come and find nothing and say there's no proof anyone was there. and they leave. In the morning, you and your mother test every door in the house. Nothing matches the sound you heard except the heavy wooden gate your father built. Someone had been inside your backyard, close enough to the gate to slam it. Your mother noticed something else that morning. There is a hole in the bathroom floor. Through this hole, you can see a sliver of the basement ceiling. She looked through it. The basement light was on. The door is locked. Your father has the only key. The light can only be turned on from inside the basement. It can only be turned on by someone who is in there. It is off now. The cameras arrive Thursday. You don't know what has been living in your house. You don't know how long. You don't know if it was the same person every time, or more than one, or someone you've passed on the street without knowing. The basement light has not come back on. You check every night. "8 minutes from the pub to your front door. A town so quiet after 10 o'clock that you've done this walk dozens of times without seeing a single person. Your boss offered to drive you. Your boyfriend offered to walk you. You told them both no. It was New Year's. Everyone was happy. The walk was 8 minutes. Nothing ever happened here. You lit a cigarette and started walking. The bus shelter is halfway between the pub and your house. Buses don't run after 8. Whatever reason someone has for sitting there at nearly 3 in the morning is not a bus. You recognize him as you get closer. You served him earlier in your shift. He looks up. You see what he's doing with his keys. You categorize him and keep walking. He asks you for a lighter. You're smoking. He knew you'd have one. It's a reasonable request, and you're a person who gives people the benefit of the doubt. You stop. You start looking in your bag. He's already walking towards you. You realize you've stopped moving. You give him the lighter. You tell him to keep it. You start to say something about needing to go. He tells you to stop a second, and you stop. His face changes, not dramatically, a recalibration, the expression of a man who has just reevaluated the situation. He looks at you in a way that takes its time, and then he says it. You know, I've been real angry. I've been waiting for someone to hurt all night. You shouldn't be walking around here alone. Your legs go to water. You tell him your boyfriend is waiting around the corner. He smirks. The smirk of a man who already knows there's no boyfriend. He says he'll walk with you to meet your boyfriend. He's on your tail before you've taken 3 steps. Talking, something about how you don't understand him, how he's not going to hurt you specifically. You're not listening. You're doing arithmetic. Your house versus the pub. Which direction requires you to walk back past him? What happens if you run? Your house is closer. You keep walking. You get your phone out. It opens to the work group chat. You type something. A man walking with me. And you see the battery is at 2% and your hands are shaking. He starts saying things about you. Specific things. Designed to reduce you. To remind you how alone you are. You don't respond. You walk faster. You choose a house with a light on. You open the gate, close it behind you, walk up the path. You take your key out. You turn to him and smile and say goodnight. You put your key in a lock that is not yours. You pray he leaves before the door doesn't open. He looks at you for a moment. Then he turns and walks away. You wait until he's far enough, then you run. He sees you the moment you start moving. He turns back. You are already running and you are 21 years old, and the gap between you and your front door is 50 meters. You get to your door. You push your key into the lock and it doesn't turn. Your father has left his key in the lock from the inside. Your phone is dead. You bang on the door. Your father opens it. You get inside. The door closes. You lock it. You stand in your hallway and you think about your boss offering to drive you, and your boyfriend offering to walk you, and the 8 minutes that are not always 8 minutes after all. You've been here for over an hour. The journal is open, pen moving. Your drink has gone cold. You're in a town 30 minutes outside your city, filling the time while your partner runs errands. The restaurant is small, in a town of 1,800 people. Nothing about this place suggests danger. That's what he's counting on. The car has been there for several minutes before you notice it. Parked in the space directly facing your booth. Engine running, headlights on, pointing directly at you through the glass. Then the headlights flash, high beams twice, directly at your face. You look up, see it's not your partner's car, and go back to riding. He was running a baseline. He needed to know what you would do when something drew your eye. Whether you would look up, scan, register, stay alert. You looked up and went back to your journal. To him, that meant, she's alone, she's trackable, she's manageable. He gets out of his car. He positions himself in the waiting area, the space between your booth and the counter. Somewhere a person might stand for their order. He has no order, nothing in his hands in his pockets. You look up from a finished paragraph and he is staring at you. Not glancing, staring, with an expression that has no clean name. Hostility without heat, anger without movement. He turns away. You go back to your journal. You can still see him in your peripheral vision. He's moving, not toward the door, not toward the counter, into your blind spot. There's a partition between where you're sitting and where he's gone. He can see you. You can only see him if you turn and look directly. You start packing your things. When you start packing, he moves toward the door. Not to leave, to position. He enters the vestibule between the inner and outer doors and stands there. He can see the staff, the parking lot, the dining room, and the highway turn-in. He has placed himself at your only exit in a position that requires you to get close to him to leave. He has left just enough room. You don't go to the door, you go to the bathroom. You text your partner. When you come out, he's back inside, near the doors, hands still in his pockets. You walk past him. He watches you without turning his head. You go through the vestibule. You try the wrong door first. You find the right one. You get to your partner's car. His car is parked right next to the door. Your partner backed in, so from inside the restaurant, the man watching cannot see the driver. He watches you open the passenger door. He watches you say hello. He watches you open the back door and put your bag in. For the first time, you look directly at him. He is looking directly at you, hands still in pockets. Your partner pulls out onto the highway and turns past the restaurant. You look back. He is still watching. The angle of his face has tracked you all the way to the road. A minute later, a car is caught up to you, following closely. It tails you for a few minutes. Then it turns off. You never see his face clearly. You never see his hands come out of his pockets. You never find out his name. What you know is this: he tested whether you were paying attention. He positioned himself at your only exit. He waited to see if you were leaving alone. And when you got into someone else's car, he followed until he couldn't. You think about the flash of the high beams, about how long he sat out there before you looked up, about all the nights you sat alone in restaurants before this one, writing in your journal, not paying attention to the parking lot. 3 ordinary places, a house that was 160 years old and knew how to keep a secret, a street 8 minutes long that turned out to be longer than that, a booth by a window where a woman sat writing, not paying attention to the parking lot. The night clerk has the files. The shift never ends.